What's up everyone, it's Uncle Stambana here, and today I'm going to teach you guys about Billy curving. This was something I planned on doing for a while, as a lot of people have been curious about how to curve with Billy and how I even do it myself. But before we get started, I just want to remind you guys that as usual that I do stream on Twitch, and all the content from my YouTube, including this video, comes from my streams. If you'd like to follow my Twitch channel, just go to the link on the screen or in the description of the video. But before you guys watch this video, I just want to warn you all that this is not a Hillbilly guide. If you are looking to learn the basics on playing Billy, there are multiple guides out there to check out which may be required to learn how to play Billy. This is because curving is a unique playstyle with Billy and may require some prior knowledge on how to play him. If you want a helpful and most recent guide to catch up, I prefer seeing this one made by SofaReks before you check this out. The link is on the top right or on the description below. So to start things off, I'd like to explain what a Billy curve is. The Billy curve is a technique that you can use to turn more than 90 degrees only at the start of the chainsaw sprint. This is highly resourceful when you want to reach chainsaw hits on corners, collisionless tiles, or on survivors that may seem a bit far from your range. The max turn cap on a Billy curve can only sit you at least 180 degrees, which is good so that you don't have to throw your mouse or analog to complete it. Now to figure out, what do you need to be successful at curving? I just want to say that this can be done with no add-ons. However, the add-ons that will affect curving are only engravings. This is because Billy's chainsaw sprint speed will increase as it is used, so the timing of a Billy curve can be short enough for you to get a quick hit. You could run either a single one or use both together, but I'll show you all later what it looks like. The other thing you may need is to go to your settings and put your controller sensitivity up to 100%. This is the setting that pushes Billy's turn cap to go past 90 degrees. To all the console homies out there, don't worry, because I'll show you guys soon how to curve on controller with all these settings. But now let me demonstrate how I curve with Billy. So here's how I do the Billy curve on mouse. I start rubbing my saw to at least 80 to 90%, then feather by spam clicking M2 to prepare for a curve. When I'm ready, I move close to the corner, and as soon as I hear the Billy roar, I turn my mouse at a fixed spot to go at least 90 degrees. In order not to bump into anything and turn too far, I slightly turn my mouse in the opposite direction to keep the chainsaw sprint going. This can be done a lot properly in pallet loops, long walls, and especially that one doorway of shack. With all that advice, here's a couple of simple Billy curves I pulled off, featuring my hand cam to show you guys what I do. Gotta make sure I get that for later. Now for how to do it on controller. It's the same thing as before, but you need to move your analog on the direction you curve. I'll just show one curve on controller to demonstrate how it looks. Hey, like this. This. The same goes for using Q and E to curve. Just simply press either button and hold it until you push yourself on a high collision zone. Yeah, now you see it. Some of the best Billies use Q and E, but I always prefer mouse since it gives me a lot more control with how much I should go as I turn. Although fun fact, I used to start curving on Q and E a while ago since it just felt pretty easy. Ever since I chose to do mouse, it was a very good decision. Now, a couple important tips on doing Billy curves. First off, involving the controller sensitivity. You need to keep it at 100%, as Billy's turn cap with this chainsaw depends on it. When you try to curve at 0% control sensitivity, you barely go past 45 degrees. When you do it at 50%, you go at least 90 degrees, but with 100%, that should be enough for you to make it to 180 degrees max. For all mouse users, DPI does not affect Billy's turn cap at all. Q and E buttons, on the other hand, work just like controller sensitivity as well, so make sure you keep it at 100%. If you want to make your Billy curves a whole lot smoother, or if you're playing against good survivors, then I'd say stick to running engravings. One of the best things to do to get value with a Billy curve without add-ons is by getting close to the survivor, but not too close for a basic chainsaw hit. It may end up being a back rib, however, but it will make room for shortening the reaction times at the very least. Shortening the reaction time can be valuable because most often, a good survivor can peel out of a curve zone if you're doing it with no add-ons. If a survivor chooses to peel out to dodge a curve, then the best plan is to play play wide on a curve attempt so you can at least hit them, no matter what you run. If you're trying to curve with no add-ons, I'd work with feathering at 80%, but if you do it with engravings, I'd stick to 90%. Without engravings, your chainsaw charge time can go pretty fast before you plan out the curve. And let's not forget no collision zones. A good Billy always tests out a curve on areas that may have minimal collision. If you see any of them on specific tiles, make the attempt on curving it, and you might get some massive value if you hit it right. And now, how to do the 360 curve, or as some folks call it, the SYN Car Curve. This works against most average survivors, but not the best ones since they can just escape the loop like it's nothing. My advice is that you need to have full experience with your mouse, controller, or keyboard, like you can handle it pretty well. But to actually pull it off, make sure you move yourself on the parallel side of the short section while keeping your saw to at least 70%. And while holding the chainsaw rev, turn clockwise or counterclockwise depending on where you'd see the survivor standing on. Make sure that as you're at least 90 degrees away from the area you curve, your chainsaw meter needs to hit 100%. Start the curve, turn at the same momentum as a spin, and there it is. This is how it should look like when it's complete. Let me play this out. Also, last but not least, and I need to address this one before people end up becoming victims to this, I'm going to warn y'all about the crouch tech. This is where instead of a survivor peeling out of a Billy curve, they crouch to keep themselves away from getting hit. I'm going to show you a demonstration of how it looks like when I do it on survivor.
Yeah, it happens both on Billy and Leatherface, but if you're more exact against the Billy, then it can work. See if you can hug this.
Now this is another way people can dodge a Billy curve, but it doesn't mean that it works all the time. If you do a Billy curve and somehow your saw aims directly to the survivor while they crouch, you can still 100% hit them. I recommend keeping the chainsaw hit spin going even if it looks like you're going to miss it so that the hit counts. But if you're either moving slightly to the left or right of a survivor who does a crouch attack, then there's a possibility of getting juked. But most importantly, make sure you aim your saw directly on the survivor to stay away from the crouch tech. Anyways, that is everything you need to know about how to curve with Billy. It's pretty easy to learn as long as you follow the basic tactics and tips I provided for it. If any of you guys have more questions, feel free to post it in the comments below. And also, I'd like you all to subscribe to SofaReks as well, who's a Billy main as well and was one of the people that helped me improve my skills with playing him. I hope to see more folks becoming curving Billys after this. Be sure to leave a like or subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you.